Seniors, this vitamin could add 10 years to your heart's life. Have you ever wondered why even a short walk leaves you breathless? Why do tasks that once felt effortless now seem like a burden to your heart? People often say, "That's just aging." But what if that's not the whole truth? What if the fatigue, the shortness of breath, the irregular heartbeat aren't simply from age, but a silent cry for help from your heart, missing something it needs every single day to keep beating? I know it sounds simple, maybe even hard to believe, but let me ask you this. If just one vitamin, not a drug, not a prescription, with no harmful side effects, could help extend the life of your heart by 10 more years, wouldn't you want to know what it is? In this video, I'll reveal 5 nutrients that clinical studies have confirmed can restore heart strength, reduce fatigue, improve circulation, and help you live more actively, even well into your 70s and 80s. And the last vitamin on this list is a guarded secret, something many cardiologists quietly use for themselves, yet very few people have ever heard about. So the real question is your heart waiting for a second chance? And could one small capsule each day change the way your heart beats for the rest of your life? Let's find out, starting with a vitamin that most people forget about, but may be the single key to restoring the lost energy of your heart. Are you ready to begin?
Vitamin B1, reviving a tired heart. Have you ever felt that your heart is weaker than it used to be? Not exactly sharp pain, but a deep fatigue, the kind that makes you not want to get up. Every morning feels like climbing a hill, even if all you're doing is walking into the kitchen. But what if I told you that one simple, inexpensive vitamin could be the missing piece behind why your heart feels that way? Vitamin B1, also known as thiamine, is the essential fuel your heart needs to generate energy. Think about it. Your heart never stops working. It beats 100,000 times a day, even while you sleep. Yet millions of people over 60 are quietly deficient in B1, especially those taking diuretics or blood pressure medications. And when your body runs low on B1, your heart doesn't have enough energy to contract strongly, leading to fatigue, weakness, swollen legs, and even shortness of breath. A study published on PubMed showed that after just 28 days of taking 300 milligrams of B1 daily, patients with mild heart failure improved their ejection fraction, EF, the measure of how much blood the heart pumps with each beat, from 29.5% to 32.8%. That is a remarkable recovery for a heart that was once exhausted. Another meta-analysis even reported that B1 supplementation could lower in-hospital mortality in patients with severe heart failure. Do you take diuretics every day? Do you feel constant fatigue or notice your heart racing after just a few steps? The solution may not always be a stronger drug. It might be the simple act of restoring what your heart is missing. But even if your heart is refueled, what happens if the blood vessels carrying that flow are silently being blocked by calcification you can't even feel? In the next part, I'll reveal a powerful vitamin duo. When missing, calcium can deposit directly into your arteries, slowly squeezing your heart tighter every single day. Trust me, you won't want to miss this.
Vitamin D3 plus K2, clearing the path for blood flow. Have you ever heard someone say, calcium is good for aging bones? Maybe you yourself take vitamin D3 every day, believing it keeps your bones strong. But here's what very few people know. If you take D3 without pairing it with another crucial nutrient, calcium can go astray. Instead of going into your bones, it can end up building up inside your arteries. Think of your arteries as soft, flexible pipes carrying blood to every cell in your body. When you don't have enough vitamin K2, a nutrient most Americans are deficient in, calcium, instead of being deposited into bones, attaches itself to the artery walls. Over time, those arteries harden and narrow, forcing your heart to push harder just to keep blood moving. And you may not feel anything at all until it's too late. A recent 2-year clinical trial showed that people with severe coronary artery calcification who were supplemented with high-dose K2 along with vitamin D3 significantly slowed the progression of soft plaque buildup, one of the leading triggers of heart attacks. Not only that, but another study found that people deficient in both D3 and K2 had a higher risk of all-cause mortality because their hearts were being overworked every single day. Here's the problem. K2 is almost absent from the typical American diet. It's naturally found in natto, a traditional Japanese fermented soybean dish, and in certain aged hard cheeses, but almost no one over 60 consumes enough of it. D3, on the other hand, is very common, yet its widespread use without K2 is exactly what puts many people at risk. So ask yourself, are you taking D3 every day? And are you sure you're getting enough K2 to guide calcium to the right place? Because if calcium is silently building up inside your blood vessels, what will ease that pressure and loosen those stiff arteries from the inside out? In the next part, I'll talk about a familiar yet often overlooked mineral, one that can help regulate your heartbeat, lower your blood pressure, and restore the deep, peaceful sleep you've been missing. You may have heard of magnesium, but do you truly understand its powerful role in protecting your heart?
Magnesium, the mineral of relaxation for heart and mind. Have you ever felt your heart beating out of rhythm? Or noticed that as soon as you lie down at night, your legs twitch, your body feels restless, and you can't seem to fall asleep? You might think it's age, you might think it's stress, maybe. But what if I told you it could also be your heart's way of warning you that it's missing magnesium? Magnesium is one of the most essential minerals for heart health. It not only helps your heart maintain a steady rhythm, but it also relaxes your blood vessel walls, lowers pressure, supports deep sleep, and prevents muscle cramps or spasms. The problem is, more than half of adults over 60 are deficient in magnesium without realizing it, especially if you take diuretics, blood pressure medications, or have a history of type 2 diabetes. A massive study of over 1 million people found that for every 100 milligram increase in daily magnesium intake, the risk of heart failure dropped by 22%, stroke risk by 7%, and overall mortality by up to 10%. Even more striking, among older adults followed for more than a decade, those who consumed enough magnesium each day had significantly lower rates of death from heart disease compared to those who were deficient. Do you see yourself in that group? Are you taking your medications faithfully, yet still noticing a racing heart, restless legs at night, or struggling to fall asleep? The good news is, magnesium is easy to replenish. You can find it naturally in pumpkin seeds, leafy green vegetables, or as supplements in forms like magnesium citrate or magnesium glycinate, both highly absorbable and gentle on an older stomach. But if magnesium is the mineral that keeps your heart beating in rhythm, what about protecting your heart from inflammation itself? Did you know there's a type of fat, yes, a fat, that's considered your heart's best friend? And could it really lower the risk of sudden cardiac death the way so many studies suggest? Let's explore that together in the next part, where we'll uncover the truth about an omega that may change the way you think about fat for the rest of your life. Tell me, when was the last time you had fish?
Omega-3, the fat that puts your heart at ease. Fat. For many people over 60, that word instantly brings to mind cholesterol, clogged arteries, and cholesterol-lowering medications. But not all fats are bad. In fact, there is one type of fat, often described as the lubricating oil for the heart, reducing inflammation, stabilizing heart rhythm, and even lowering the risk of sudden cardiac death. That fat is omega-3. Have you heard that salmon, mackerel, and sardines are especially good for your heart?
That's because they're rich in EPA and DHA, the two most powerful forms of omega-3. These compounds can lower triglycerides, reduce inflammation inside artery walls, prevent dangerous blood clots, and help regulate heartbeat. These effects are especially vital for people over 60, when silent inflammation and rhythm disturbances begin to rise with age. One 13-year follow-up study showed that those with the highest blood levels of omega-3 had a 21% lower risk of heart failure compared to those with the lowest levels. In another meta-analysis, omega-3 supplementation was linked to a 33% reduction in the risk of sudden cardiac death, a staggering number by any measure. But is it a perfect solution? Not entirely. Some recent studies found that taking omega-3 in excessively high doses, especially in people without prior heart disease, might increase the risk of atrial fibrillation. This doesn't mean you should stop taking it. Rather, it means you should take it correctly, at the right dose, and choose a form that has been tested for purity. So, are you currently taking omega-3? If so, have you checked your dosage? And if you don't eat fatty fish regularly, how can you be sure you're getting enough EPA and DHA every day? A single high-quality fish oil capsule containing about 1,000 milligrams of EPA plus DHA could be the difference between a vulnerable heart and a resilient one. But there is one last nutrient more powerful than omega-3. It's not a vitamin, it's not a mineral, but it has the extraordinary ability to recharge your heart at the deepest level, inside each and every cell. And here's the secret. The world's leading cardiologists are quietly taking it themselves every single day. Have you ever heard of CoQ10?
CoQ10, the life engine of the aging heart. There is a moment many people never forget. When the doctor looks at their EF, the ejection fraction, the number that measures how strongly the heart pumps, and says, "We need to monitor this closely." For most people, an EF below 40% is a sign of heart failure. But one 69-year-old man, after his heart was weakened by a viral attack, saw his EF drop to just 30 to 33%. He could barely walk a few steps. Yet after only a few months, his EF rose to 50 to 51%. He didn't change medications, didn't have surgery. He added just one thing, CoQ10. Coenzyme Q10, known simply as CoQ10, is a compound your body makes naturally, but its levels drop sharply after the age of 60. It is the cellular fuel that allows the heart to generate energy. Imagine your heart as a race car engine. No matter how much fuel it has, without proper oil, the engine wears down, weakens, and eventually fails. That's what happens when your cells lack CoQ10. And here's something even more critical. If you are taking cholesterol-lowering medications, especially statins, your body's CoQ10 levels fall even further. This is why so many statin users feel tired, short of breath, or weak without knowing why. It's not that the medication is directly harming the heart, it's that the drug is quietly draining your CoQ10 reserves. The Q-Symbio trial, one of the largest studies ever done on CoQ10, showed that supplementing 300 milligrams per day in patients with heart failure reduced cardiovascular deaths, lowered hospitalizations, and significantly improved EF. Another study, KISSEL-10, conducted in older adults, found that the heart protective benefits of CoQ10 lasted for up to 12 years, even after stopping supplementation. So, let me ask you, are you currently on statins? Have you felt your heart growing weaker, unable to endure what it once could? Maybe what you need isn't more medication, but energy restored at the source. And that is exactly what CoQ10 can give back to you. Now that you know about these 5 powerful nutrients, what will you do? Is it ever too late to begin caring for your heart again? Let's close this journey with one final thought, not from data, not from doctors, but from your own heart itself.
A second chance for your heart. Your heart has been working silently for you for more than 60 years. No days off, no complaints. It has carried your entire life, every moment of love, every wave of exhaustion, every beat of fear and joy. And now, as you begin to feel it growing weaker, this is not the time to look away. This is the time to answer back. The 5 vitamins you've just discovered are not miracles. They don't replace medication. They don't make empty promises. But they are an opportunity to reclaim some of the strength you've lost, an opportunity to reduce fatigue, to calm your worries, and to live more fully in the years ahead, an opportunity to step out of the shadow of hospital rooms and return to peaceful mornings, steady footsteps, and nights of deep sleep without the pounding of a restless heart in the dark. And the most wonderful truth is this: it is never too late to begin. You don't have to do everything at once. Just start with one small action. A single B1 capsule, 1 drop of D3 plus K2, a spoonful of magnesium before bed, or a dose of CoQ10 in the morning. One small step each day to give your heart 10 more years of strength, of vitality, of quality life. In the description below, I've listed carefully selected, trustworthy products, chosen with older adults in mind and safe even for those already on medication. Take a look and find the solution that fits you best. If this video has given you even a spark of hope, press like, subscribe, and share it with someone you love. Someone out there may need to hear this today, and who knows, it might just save their heart, the same way it is beginning to revive yours. So, are you ready?